So ADHD, which is what I've got, sort of breaks down those boundaries of impulsivity, and you just kind of go with things, right? You just say yes, and you figure it out afterwards, which in some ways is a superpower, right? So I'm ex-military, joined the military at 18, and I did bomb disposal. So my appetite for risk is quite high. So I'm a Viking and medieval reenactor. A bit weird, I know, but started making mead because I was bored and I couldn't buy any good mead. So I thought, you know what, maybe I can do this myself. And the Jorvik Centre, the Viking museum, came along and they tried it and they said, hey, do you sell this? And I said, no, and they said, well, if you do, we'll buy it. So I went home and told the then girlfriend, now wife, that it'd be a small side project, sold the dining table, sold the back bed, and turned the entire house into a working factory for 8 months. Fast forward to now, 25 staff, 15,000 square foot factory, export to 30 states of the US, 5 countries, and we're the largest producer of mead in the UK. You get that imposter syndrome, you're like, oh, how did I get here? I don't know what I'm doing. But I think, you know, having that neurodiversity, having that ADHD, it just kind of makes you jump off the cliff again.
Pete, so nice to meet you. I just met you upstairs at the bar.
That's true, yes.
And you're very familiar with this setting because you've been here before.
Yes,
at the Great British
indeed.
Entrepreneur Awards.
Winner last year, yes.
Winner last year. So tell us why you're back here. What award are you up for, and what's the business?
So I'm up for 2 awards this evening, up for Scale Up Entrepreneur and also Neurodiverse Entrepreneur. So I own 2 companies. One is called Nidhoggr Mead Co, which is the one that I'm up for the awards for, and the new one, which we've just spun out, which is called Honey Thief, which we launched back in March. So that one would probably enter into the startup awards next time.
Nice. And how did you get into the world of mead?
So I'm a Viking and medieval reenactor. A bit weird, I know, but started making mead because I was bored and I couldn't buy any good mead. So I thought, you know what, maybe I can do this myself. So I was making mead as a hobby for me and my friends to get drunk on. And lockdown happened. So I started making an awful lot of it. And in between the 2 lockdowns, there was a little Viking event at a place called Merton Park. And the Jorvik Centre, the Viking museum, came along and they tried it and they said, hey, do you sell this? And I said, no, and they said, well, if you do, we'll buy it. So I went home and told the then girlfriend, now wife, that it'd be a small side project, sold the dining table, sold the back bed, and turned the entire house into a working factory for 8 months. Fast forward to now, 25 staff, 15,000 square foot factory, export to 30 states of the US, 5 countries, and we're the largest producer of mead in the UK.
Brilliant. And soon to be entering America, I hear.
Yes, yeah. So America with Honey Thief, we're potentially in conversations with a very, very big retailer, but I won't say who, but very big retailer. And yeah, with the Renaissance fairs for Nidhoggr. So it's all on the go, really.
Okay. And I want to spend most of our conversations today talking about neurodiversity.
Yeah.
Considering that's the award you're up for.
Yes, indeed, yeah.
Your past, and maybe you can, if you're happy to share.
Yeah.
How we were talking a little bit upstairs about risk and appetite.
Appetite for risk. Yeah, impulsivity.
How do you think your background serves you as an entrepreneur?
Massively. So I'm ex-military, joined the military at 18, and I did bomb disposal. So my appetite for risk is quite high. And also ADHD, which is what I've got, sort of breaks down those boundaries of impulsivity, and you just kind of go with things, right? You just say yes, and you figure it out afterwards, which in some ways is a superpower, right? You know, I didn't get diagnosed with ADHD until I was 30. My wife kept telling me, you're on the spectrum. And I was like, no, I was just a naughty kid at school. You know, I got expelled from 2 schools. And all the time, you're just told you're a naughty kid, you're a naughty kid. And I went for the tests and everything, and I got diagnosed with severe combined type ADHD. And when you find that out, you start to have a lot of self-reflection, and you think about your life and, oh, well, actually, it wasn't because I was naughty, it's because I have this condition. And I now look at it as a superpower. It allows me to talk to anybody. It gives me high levels of energy. Don't ask me where my keys are. And my organizational skills are awful. But I built my business in a way that allowed me to rely on my skills of going out and selling and talking to people. And then I hired the right people to fill those gaps that are created by my neurodiversity.
Amazing. And we can't mention the contract that you're about to win in America, but as your business continues to grow and achieves more success, how does that any of it scare you at all, or is that same applied methodology? That same thing.
I mean, it's the same applied methodology. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's scary, and the company was never meant to be what it is now. It was meant to buy me a new sword and a new tent, right? It was meant to buy me some Viking things, and now I run 2 multi-million pound brands. And it is scary. It is kind of a worrying thing some days when you're like, oh, I don't, and you get that imposter syndrome. You're like, oh, how did I get here? I don't know what I'm doing. But I think, having that neurodiversity, having that ADHD, it just kind of makes you jump off the cliff again. And you go, you know what? It's scary, but what's the worst that could happen? Right? And the worst that could happen is, it all goes wrong. But hey, then you just start again.
And you've got a daughter.
I have. Yes.
How has fatherhood? How do you see that? Is that going to interfere with the business?
No, I don't think it does. I mean, the thing is, I live by the mantra of be uncomfortable now to be comfortable for the rest of your life. And my daughter's 13 months old. I'm away from home quite a bit. I go to America every quarter. I'm away doing events and all this sort of stuff. And she kind of notices a bit more now than she did. But she'll never remember this. She'll never remember Daddy wasn't there when I was a 1-year-old. What she will remember is when she's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, she'll remember that I was there because I built the business and I was able to be, but also I could provide for her and everything that she wants. So yeah, it's hard for me, very hard for me, because I don't want to leave her and I don't want to leave my wife at home, but it's for the right reasons,
Fair. Yeah, that makes sense. And just your mantra, lastly, sounds like it could open the door for a lot of self-sabotage and self-harm. Where do you draw the line? If you're going to be uncomfortable now, how long is that now period? What's a safe?
I'm uncomfortable until I exit, I think is the answer.
And can I ask you about your exit? Do you foresee any kind of hesitancy, any reluctance of giving away something you've built literally from, as you described, from your bedroom? Yeah,
so I mean, it was kind of my baby, and when I was on Dragon's Den, I was on Dragon's Den, and we put up part of the company for investment, and we didn't get it. They just didn't see the scope of the mead market, but that sparked me to go out and seek angel investment. So I've already sold part of the company. We raised $500,000, and I think that allowed me to realize I can give away a bit of control. And as I'm looking to an exit for one of the companies in sort of 2027, 2028, and I want to get it gone because it's too labor intensive. And now that I've done one, you can see how you can make the second one better and tweak that and make it a lot less labor intensive. And, you can increase those margins and all these wonderful things that you realize as you become a business owner. You're like, oh, wow, why did I never think of that before? So on one hand, yes, it's kind of like you are giving away a baby, you're selling your child because you poured your heart and soul into it. But then it allows you to build something bigger and better with the next one. So
amazing. And lastly, we're going to do a 10-second rehearse of your victory speech tonight when you're on stage. What's the first person you're going to thank?
I'm going to thank my wife and my daughter for giving me a reason to do the things that I do. And then my team and all of my staff, because at the end of the day, I wouldn't be where I am without them. And they all work immensely hard. And I'm very proud of all of them.
I think that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Awesome. Thank you, brother.
No worries.